Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op, and today we're talking about easy, hardy plant combos. It's easy to just start pointing and clicking and buying and then going, this one's not doing so well, that one's doing really well, those died off, I'm going to buy some more of those. And today I want to start you off with some combos that kind of go together and it'll be easy and you'll see that success without doing so much guesswork. So the first one is the Unkillable Hardy Epiphyte plant system. And so what that means is plants that want to attach to things, whether it's wood or rock or substrate even, it'll grow in there. It'll even grow onto glass sometimes. They want to grow onto things, not in the substrate necessarily or floating. And that would be, the first one would be Anubias. Anubias is a great plant. You've probably heard about it before, kind of bigger leaves typically. Slow grower, which is, there's an advantage I'll talk about here in a minute. And big thick leaves though, so because it takes a long time to grow, they get those thick leaves and they can kind of take a little bit more of a beating from a fish. They also take longer to die off. If that was going to happen, they typically ship really well, and you want to use something like Aquarium Co-op super glue to attach it to your wood or your rock or your decoration. Maybe you got a plastic decoration, and that's going to keep it anchored while it grows. Now what you don't want to do with the epiphytes, you don't want to plant them into substrate too low. There's a rhizome on there, that horizontal piece where all the leaves come out. You want that to be above any substrate or above the rock you're going to glue it to or anything like that. And it just takes a little dab. A little dab will do you. You don't have to just, put a big old glob and then, in fact, you can cause a little bit of damage sometimes. But a little bit of just enough so it doesn't float away from whatever you're trying to attach it to. The next plant I would pair with that is Java Fern. It comes in multiple varieties. There's tons nowadays, but the ones that we sell, you kind of got this multi-fingered variety, and then you have the normal Java Fern variety. Same principle, grows on a rhizome, grows slow, which is going to be your benefit. Dies slow also, but this one also has a form that when it's dying back a little bit or when it gets stressed, the little seeds that you see underneath the leaf actually sprout into new little plantlets. And so those little plantlets, you can take a pair of tweezers or your fingers and kind of jam them in the crevices between rocks or wood, and they'll start growing from there. In nature, they kind of break loose and they go find a new little crevice to get stuck into, and then they start growing. You can also pluck a leaf and just let it float around your aquarium. That causes the stress to make little plantlets, and so you can be making little plantlet babies and spreading them to other tanks and doing things, or just let it grow into one big mass and then subdivide and move it. Or what I like to do personally is I like to attach them to rocks, get them to fill in, and then I'll use those rocks in different little aquascapes and things and build pieces that are modular. So I really enjoy doing that, especially when I'm doing a really big aquarium where it would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars to buy all the plants to fill it. I can start growing them in smaller tanks to eventually get that move going. And then the last one that I pair with those that also doesn't have to be planted in substrate would be Java moss. We sell them on the little mesh mats, and you can wrap that around. If you have a stick, you can wrap it around and it'll grow that way. You can kind of make it mold around a rock. You can just have it flat on the bare bottom. Real versatile and easy. Again, slow grower. And because they're slow growing, something like a little bit of easy green goes a long way. You can also rely on some of the fish poop, but if you don't have all the nutrients in your water, they'll start yellowing and getting some deficiencies. So a little bit of easy green helps there. And it's low light. So that's the other thing, is they don't take a lot of light and they don't have to have CO2. They're, kind of buy and put in your tank, will grow type of plants. Super duper easy and hardy. And you'll see so many tanks from so many people that just love their Java Ferns, they love their Anubias, they love their Java Moss, and they all go together really well. Next up, we've got the Jungle Tank. It's a much faster growing set of plants, so you're going to get faster results. It's going to uptake nitrogen and things you don't want out of your water faster, which is helpful, and still easy to grow and not high light, so it's still total beginner friendly. The first plant is a mouthful. Pogostemen stellatus octopus. People just call it the octopus plant. In fact, I've got a ton of it right there, way overgrown. It's a stem plant, so it grows pretty fast vertically, and then it puts out all these little leaves that look like octopus arms. So that's how it got that name. Being that it grows so fast and can get bushy like that, great for fry, lots of hangout, but that's unkempt, so it looks way different when you keep it up, and it's just a cool looking stem plant. And easy to grow, not too demanding, and that's like the key to the first success. The next thing we're going to pair with that is going to be a Cryptocoryne. I like Cryptocoryne, I like Cryptocoryne, add a little bit of splash of color in there maybe. And they're heavy root feeders. They definitely want to be planted down in the substrate. You want to put root tabs with them and re-up those root tabs every 1 to 3 months, depending on how big it's getting. So like our root tabs, nice and thick, they actually are twice as much nutrients we used to sell for the last 10 years. And so they will last longer in the substrate for you. And if you don't, so what I found, I've done testing, if you don't put the root tabs, you'll get lighter colored crypts. They won't have that rich color. They'll still grow. Fish poop will make them grow. But if you really want to see that texture on the leaf and everything, root tabs helps out a ton. Now these guys are likely to melt back when you get them. You'll buy them from us. They'll look pretty good. They're going to do what's called a crypt melt. They melt back down to just the roots, and then they put up a little bit of growth and they'll come back and they'll look beautiful for you. So the root tabs or an enriched substrate really helps that transition to come back. And depending on what type of crypt you select, they're kind of that, you know, up to 6 inches or so. There are some that get super tall, but most of them are about 6 inches. So nice tall octopus plant, some mid-level plant going on. Makes for a great little combo there. And then the last one, you know, you might want to fill out with a carpet. And so that jungle look where it's going to be just fully covered everywhere, something like a Dwarf Sagittaria. It's a carpeting plant. It makes little runners. Again, root tabs are going to go a long, long way on that one. But all of these plants will feed off the substrate, but also the water column. So don't forget, you know, some of that easy green. And you just want to let them settle in and start growing. And the good news is all of these plants will spread. So this started from one plant. And this is a 150-gallon tank. It's like 1/4 of the tank, and it took about 4 or 5 months or so to get that big. And then right down there, you've actually got a Cryptocoryne. And so these are combos that I use, even though I've been doing this for a long time, because they're just tried and true and really, really good combos. All right, and the last combo I've got for you is the pop of color combo that's still easy for beginners and not super highlight. So the cornerstone to this has always been and will be the dwarf aquarium lily. I think I've sold more dwarf aquarium lilies than any other plant over the last like 20 years, because you buy this bulb and people are shocked about how it'll grow in basically any light, and it will grow even without fertilizer to begin with, because that bulb is basically all fertilizer with a plant. And then the plant sprouts, and you get these big lily pads up top, you get these cool leaves down below, and they're that rusty brown color to all the way red color. If you're feeding, you know, if you feed it, it'll be more of that red. If it's not getting a lot of nutrients, it'll be more of that rusty brown color. And that offers cover, which is nice because it can diffuse some of the light. It makes your fish feel safe. It looks like no other plant, and it's that pop of color, and they're one of the easiest plants we sell to grow. And so that's the base. I usually start it like in a back corner, you know, that 1/3, because it's going to get a fairly big plant and make all these cool lilies on top. So that's my starting basis. Then I add another root feeder, which would be like a red flame sword or a melon sword. You can pick any of the swords really, but those ones again have that pop of color. A marble sword has like a modeling pattern on it, and if you're looking for that, ooh, that looks different, because maybe you have lots of plants that just look green. These are to start breaking up that pattern. But if you don't have something that's super green, these plants look amazing, and they pop their best when paired with a kind of a ground cover. And again, Dwarf Sagittaria or Pygmy Chainsword would do really well for this. It fills in that whole bottom, and then you'll have these pops of color of plants coming out of it. It also wants root tabs. And I know I sound like a broken record here. Yes, we sell the products, but the plants have to eat. And so I'm just suggesting these are the easiest ways to get these plants to eat, because they're designed that way. Easy green, easy root tabs. You can't go with too many root tabs as long as you push them in to the gravel or the substrate all the way. You can overdo easy green, but I don't recommend it. Just 1 dose a week starting, and then you can, as your plants maybe develop deficiencies or something like that, which you can check out in some of our videos, that would be a sign that they might need a little more liquid fertilizer, or feeding a little more fish, or maybe adding fish, or trimming your plants, or anything like that. But those three combos are super easy. It's quick wins to have a good looking tank, and we sell them all online. So you get them shipped right to your door. You can get the fertilizers. You can get help from our customer service. You can go onto our forum. You can watch our videos, any of that. So if you're getting into, or you just want to try a new combo, maybe you haven't tried that plant or this plant. Yeah, I do it all the time. I mean, I'm running epiphytes in there. I'm running cryptocorynes in there. I'm running the octopus plant. I use our fertilizers. So that'll get you started on the right direction. From there, you can keep just growing different types of plants and having more success. And yeah, good luck.